No.
5K enough for position by position, right?
Yeah. I'll say it to you.
Yeah.
What up, everybody? Welcome to the Wise Take NBA DFS podcast. I'm your host, Paulie D, and I'm joined tonight by the man, Mr. Stevie Brown, DFS. You can follow him on Twitter at Stevie Brown DFS. Stevie, what is going on tonight, bro?
Nothing, man. It was fun day NBA. Got games from 1 o'clock till 10:30 at night now. Still sweating that last game, so fun day and looking forward to tomorrow too.
It was like a weird day. The way like the two sites were just so different. Do you play any FanDuel?
Usually I do,
Mm-hmm.
but with the whole slates going back and forth and like the different start times and there was like 10 different slates between the two sites. I stuck to DK only today, but usually play some FanDuel.
Yeah, like it was complicated for me today, like doing content for as many of this as possible and playing. And it was weird how FanDuel had a 3 o'clock slate that was the remainder of the games, and they're not a late swap site. And then DraftKings, a late swap site, had these like small slates. It was like backwards, but it was a pretty cool day of basketball. I have two teams that are live right now. We'll see. I need the Lakers guys like Kuzma, Hart, and Michael Beasley and Lance to do well. So far, kind of a slow start for most of the Lakers, so we'll see. I don't think they're going to hang in this game very long, but hopefully their players play a lot of minutes. What about you?
Yeah, so I took a ton of this game tonight. Got a lot of Kuzma, Hart, KCP, some Zubac. I stuck some Caruso in at night slate, so hopefully get a little bit of them going tonight to help me out. But keeping it close so far, 3-point game. But the Warriors can blow them out any second now, so we'll see how it happens.
Oh yeah. That 3 can turn to 30 in like a quarter. But we got a 4-game slate tomorrow, kind of a light day for a Tuesday. I guess with MLK Day being today, a lot of teams played, but we're going to break it down like we do all. We go position by position. We do have a handful of decent matchups. The lines are out for all games. The largest spread is 6. And we don't have totals for the Toronto, Sacramento, Dallas Clippers, but we have a 228 total for Phoenix, Minnesota, rematch of a game from Sunday. We have a Western Conference playoff potential matchup in Portland, OKC with a 228 total. All 4 games do have at least one fast team in it, so a lot of pace-up spots. It actually seems like a pretty interesting slate for 4 games. Stevie's going to be covering the DraftKings side. I'll be kind of covering both and just chiming in if there's like a major price discrepancy on the FanDuel side. And we will take it like that. So starting at point guard, Stevie, obviously we got Russ Westbrook at the top. What's your thoughts on him? And then anybody else that you like down to about 5K?
Yeah, so I always like Westbrook a lot. He's always a dominant perimeter player. The matchup's not bad. Especially from this game, I like taking him normally when Paul George is priced at the 10K mark or right around there because I think it's kind of priced right around a ceiling or so. Like you can get like a 54, 55-point game from Paul George, but you can get a 65, 70-point game out of Westbrook any game, and it wouldn't really surprise you. So if I'm taking pieces from this game, it's definitely going to be Westbrook there, and at 11K, he's fair. It's a playoff preview again probably, so I have a lot of interest in him there.
Mm-hmm. And then what else you like beneath?
Doncic too. He did me well tonight with his first triple-double today in the earlier games. The matchup's great against the Clippers there. When they're sidelining Dennis Smith Jr. for an illness, which probably holding him out until the trade happens, he's been dominating, so I like that a lot too. Devin Booker, right around the same price tag, 8-3. Was surprising last game without Holmes and Ayton. He actually had a little bit of a usage dip from his usual to right around he had 29 or so usage last game. Mm-hmm. And we got him in the same matchup tomorrow night against the Timberwolves, which they played last with both Ayton and Holmes out. Ayton's doubtful again. Holmes is questionable, so you got to expect the same thing again if they're both out. But at 8-3, I always like him a lot. He's priced right around Lillard, but he's shown a lot higher ceiling so far this season, and the matchup's a little better there. And when it can get a guy around that price tag with that big of a ceiling, I'm always going to like him. He did see a little bit of a cut in his field goal attempts that last game. In 33 minutes, he had 15, where he's usually hitting around like the 18 to 20 mark. So,
what do you make of that? Just variance, or do you think there's?
Yeah, I gotta imagine too. Like when you're replacing their centers from going with Ayton and Holmes, who are both pretty high usage guys, to Bender and AC, it's not like they're taking over the ball and they're shooting more. You got to expect Booker's usage going to go right up, and kind of putting that as a variance kind of thing. He didn't shoot well from three, so maybe he was a little hesitant there. Yeah, I'm going to chalk that up as some variance and assume he's going to take more shots any of the game. Otherwise, too, Fox at 7-3, I always like that a lot, too. Earlier in the season, he was hitting 40-point games consistently. That was when, like, Shumpert, like, we'd see Bogdan every other game or so rolled out. But at 7-3 now, I think he's kind of priced for his floor. A lot of people are scared of the matchup against the Raptors, but they really have let up some nice games to opposing players, and I'm not scared of taking their most dominant ball handler against them. I'm gonna expect. I can't imagine. Like, do you think Kawhi and Lowry are both gonna play tomorrow?
Yeah, I think so.
Right?
You know, I mean,
there's no reason to rest.
Kawhi missed that last one. He's had a ton of days off, and Lowry's healthy now, so
yeah, I would expect them both to play.
Yeah,
Lowry's up there too at 7-6. I mean, I've been really disappointed with him this season so far. He hasn't been hitting like the fantasy production like I thought he would. Probably not going to play him again. With Kawhi most likely in. I can't imagine myself on them. Other than that, around above the 5K range,
not too much
I like there. Like Derrick Rose too. He's all right. Like, the matchup's good again. He just matched in this matchup with, but not a guy I'm going to be heavily on.
Yep, I agree. There's a handful of spots on the slate with injuries that are like giving players boosts that are going to become priorities, and like, you know, none of these guys really interest me a ton outside of like Russ and Dame up top. And really, Russ doesn't have great history against Portland. And I do kind of like wing kind of Kevin Durant type power forwards against Portland. So I think I may actually be more on Paul George, although Russ is clearly like taking over that lead role on that team. And, you know, obviously has triple-double upside, but, you know, I don't think that we're in a situation where you're going to be able to play both. Maybe on FanDuel you could. FanDuel Russ is 12-5. That's, you know, another tougher pill to swallow. We'll see what George is when we get there. But Dame I definitely like in that game. What's his DraftKings price?
He's 8-1 on DK.
8-1. I mean, that's crazy cheap. I love him there. And even 9-3 on FanDuel I can get behind.
Yeah, 8-1 for Lillard I like a lot too. Like, what's his realistic floor here in this matchup at 8-1? Like, I think it's around a 40-point game or so, maybe just under that, his floor. And if you're getting like a 35 to 38-point floor from the guy at 8-1 when he has like a 50, 55, 60-point ceiling, which we've seen before, although it's not been recently, like I'm always going to like the guy a lot. So I'll definitely have my share of Lillard tomorrow.
Yep, I agree with that. On FanDuel, Fox and Lowry are 8 and 8-3. Like, I don't like that for either of them. The Kings are just really deep right now, and you know there's a handful of guards all kind of getting usage. Buddy Hield, Iman Shumpert, Bogdanovich, Fox, and like I think it's just kind of taking away from the upside of all of them. Like earlier in the year, we had a handful of injuries there, and these guys were playing close to 40 minutes a game, the starters, and that's just kind of changed. They're on a back-to-back. I don't know if I love them there. I'd prefer them on DraftKings at 7-3, and you know, down to 5K on FanDuel, there's really nothing. So Dame is really the only option that I like so far. Take me down to Value Town. Let me know if there's anything down there that draws your eye.
Yeah, so point guard value, there's actually a few decent, interesting guys here. With Lou Williams expected to be out again, we'll have the resurgence of Patrick Beverly, who had an insane game last game. SJ, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who had a huge game in the first game. Lou Will was out. So that makes it a little interesting there. And they're both priced around the same on DK at 4.6 and 4.8 for Beverly. It's tough to say. Like, I think I trust Beverly a little more. He saw 42 minutes last game. He was seeing right under 30 before that. I just don't like I think it was a little bit of an outlier. While he's a great defensive player, like he saw 5 stocks last game, and I never rely on a guy getting 5 stocks. But even in
5 what steals?
Yeah, steals and blocks.
Oh, 5 steals and blocks. Okay.
Even if you completely wipe that though, that's 10 points taken away on DK, and he's still hitting 43.5 there, and at this cheap price tag, with no Lou Will, you got to have some interest there. It's scary to me because you're seeing Lou Will with the 4.8 price tag, and you think right away, I got to fade that. But Lou Will, if he's going to be out again, then you got to have definitely some interest in him there. So 12 rebounds, and that could be more a part of Gallo being out compared to Lou Will, but like him a little bit. Same with SGA too. He saw 42 minutes in the first game and 38 last game. We know the minutes are going to be there. And really, he hit only had 15.5 DKP last game, but he shot like shit. He 3 for 15, no stocks at all, no block steals. Didn't feel that shit at all. People might be off him. If he was a little cheaper, I might go to him over Patrick Beverly, just because I'm sure a lot of the ownership is going to flow to Beverly now after that huge last game. But when they're sitting right around the same price tag, I'm probably going to take Pat Bev over him. Otherwise, digging deeper there's not a lot of point guard value I like, really.
It's a 4-game slate. There's not a ton. The only other guy that you didn't mention that I think is maybe viable is Jalen Brunson. He's 3.7 on FanDuel. Not sure what he is on DraftKings. Had a decent game today, played 30 minutes. Dennis Smith Jr. expected to remain out. I don't mind him, especially as a punt on FanDuel. And then with the Shai Alexander and Pat Beverly situation, I agree. I think that Beverly will be more popular. I think an interesting approach could be to play them both to get different. And, on FanDuel, Beverly's 4.7, Alexander's 3.9. So, I actually like Alexander a little bit better over there, but they're both just going to get a lot of minutes and decent enough usage, a lot of shot attempts. And, we know Pat Bev can put up peripherals. I got to take a look at Dallas to see where they rank in terms of turnovers and getting blocked and things like that. But I kind of like both of them at this point. And the only other guard I did like up top was Dame. So, I could end up just double punting with both of them. And I think that would differentiate you on a 4-game slate. And it's not a bad differentiation. I think that's actually a pretty decent approach if you like
What's
that.
interesting too with Pat Bev, for the season, everyone knows he's not a big usage player, but even last game in the same matchup, he only still carried a 13.75% usage rate, and he still hit 53 DKP. And like I said, he wiped the stocks clean. That's 10 points taken away from him. He's still hitting 43.5 there.
Yep.
If he's not scoring reliant, and SGA shot like shit, and if it's still priced around the same, I don't have a problem playing both of them either on a 4-game slate.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. So that's going to do it for point guard. Let's move it over to shooting guard. On FanDuel, we got Doncic up top at 8.9. Is that the most expensive option on DraftKings as well?
On DK, you don't have Doncic even shooting guard eligible.
Point guard forward. Okay.
Yeah, you got Booker 8.3. Not a lot here, honestly. Shooting guard and DK. Starting at the top. Yeah, again, Booker, when you get multi-position eligibility, he's going to be pretty chalky in the matchup too. Buddy Hield, 6.9 against Toronto. I'm not a big Buddy Hield guy. He's so scoring reliant. He has to have one of those games like he did against Detroit, where he's chucking up threes and making a high percentage of them. He doesn't feel the stat shit. He's not going to get a ton of assists or stocks a game. He's not a real big defensive player. So at 6.9 in this matchup, I'm really not going to go to him a lot, especially when I got Derrick Rose right under him for 6.3. Even Wiggins right now, 5'8" in the matchup. I don't mind it. I never really liked the guy because he's so scoring reliant. He's pretty disappointing in terms of how when Towns is out with foul trouble last game for a little bit. you should expect Wiggins to be completely ball dominant because he's so talented, but he just doesn't perform like he should be. Yeah, otherwise, in this like last game when you had Derrick Rose play the last, I think it was close to the last 22 minutes of the game completely from the third pouring into the fourth quarter against the Suns.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I forget. I don't know. I don't think T got hurt. Was it foul trouble? Do you remember at all if T got hurt or what it was?
I don't think he got hurt, but
I know he was questionable for the game, right? But he ended up playing.
Yeah, he played and
Played got 20 minutes. Just didn't close out the fourth or anything. You saw Derrick Rose get the minutes, so
yeah, he wasn't in foul trouble either. 23 minutes. That's odd. I guess they just stuck with Rose because he was playing so well.
I'm never gonna
Garrett Bayless got 21 minutes too, which is kind of strange.
Yeah,
I don't know. I got to look into that. Maybe he did re-aggravate an injury. He has been kind of like dealing with, I think, an ankle issue. So not 100% sure though.
I'm never gonna rely on a guy playing 22 straight minutes in the second half. But even if he goes from 38 minutes or so to like 30-minute mark in this matchup, I definitely like Rose a little bit there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, not a ton of options at shooting guard. Like you said, Devin Booker, I like. He'll probably be pretty popular on a 4-game slate. If you don't play Dame, then I think you got to take a look at CJ McCollum. Although right now, like, first of all, the Blazers are deep and they're playing a lot of guys. And like, if it's not Dame, it could be Nurkic. It could be this guy Layman taking a ton of shots. Now, Evan Turner took a lot today. It's hard to really like bank on CJ McCollum at 6'5" on FanDuel. I'm sure he's similar to that on DK. Schroeder is 6'2" on FanDuel. That just seems way too expensive.
Yeah, it's too much for me there. Like, what's his realistic ceiling at 6K? Like, you can't really expect like
not much,
like 6x maybe if you're lucky that game, but you can't get like anything above that return on him.
On a 4-game slate, like you may need some couple 5x's, but even that, like at 6'2", I'm not really liking that. Guess it's, Bogdan Bogdanovic. It's either him or Buddy Hield. I know Bogdanovic went off today. I think I'd actually play Buddy Hield over Bogdanovic tomorrow against Toronto. Just, if Buddy Hield gets hot, he can go for that ceiling like he showed us. He's only 6K on FanDuel, like 6'9".
Buddy Hield is?
K. Yeah, Buddy Hield. And Bogdanovic is 5'9".
Yeah, so I always, when they're around the same price tag, I always play Buddy Hield just because his raw ceiling is a lot higher than Bogdan.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, on DK, you have a 1,700 price.
Wow.
There. Yeah, Buddy Hield 6'9".
Bogdanovic?
He's 5'2" on DK, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so
that price tag, I'll take the cheaper guy with fucking that big of a discount on him playing 30 minutes or so, again, like he did tonight.
I agree with that.
Well, when they're around the same price tag like that on FanDuel, while he's not getting the 3-point bonus or anything, and he doesn't really fall into stocks, which help him a lot on FanDuel, then I'll still take Buddy Hield over him there.
Mm-hmm.
DK, too. He's right above 5K. It's Kelly Oubre Jr. I thought last game maybe he'd see a few more minutes in some small lineups as like power forward or like get a lot more power forward minutes and help his rebound upside. We still saw his normal like 30 minutes or so that he's been getting with the Suns now off the bench, and he's been really reliable. Like he's priced at 5'6", which is what he's been around the same like last 4 games or so. In the last 4, he's only had 1 game under 30 DKP. That's been a 29.75, so I wouldn't even really consider that. He's been hitting above value. It's a good matchup. Hasn't been getting a ton of stock, so he's definitely a really safe play here, 5'6", and has some decent upside too. So him on DK is shooting our luck at 5'6".
Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't love paying that price for Kelly Oubre, but with the bigs out, as long as Holmes is ruled out too, then I'm totally fine with that, especially on the 4-game slate. There's really nothing else on FanDuel even worth talking about. It's, Luka Doncic is shooting guard eligible on FanDuel. He's 8'9". That's a tough pill to swallow. The kid's really impressive, but he's, had a tough game today. He's on a back-to-back. I don't think that I end up going up there, on a site that doesn't reward the triple-double. So it looks like Devin Booker and, one of Buddy Hield or Bogdanovic on FanDuel. Take me down below 5K on DraftKings at shooting guard. Let me know. Do you see anything down there?
I mean, not a lot off the eye. The only guy that's really catching my attention, and not because I like him a lot, but Avery Bradley at 4K, and he's been seeing minutes right around the 30-minute mark, and without Lou Will, he saw 33 and 41. He's seeing his field goal attempts go back up, which we haven't seen earlier in the season, around 13 and 15 now. Scored almost 30 DKP last game, only one steal. But if he's going to play this many minutes again, around the 40-minute mark or so, you got to love him a lot. They've been playing a lot of three-guard sets with Shai, Avery Bradley, and Pepe, with like a big center. They had like Motley in there last time with Montrez. So if he's going to play that many minutes at 4K, it's a 4-game slate. Like, I never normally played this guy, but he looked pretty impressive last game. I'll go back to him tonight too.
Avery Bradley?
Yeah, Avery Bradley. Like, I normally don't like the guy because I respect him so much more as an actual real life basketball player than a lot of people do, because our like opinions skewed with fantasy. But I'm willing to go right to him tomorrow night on a 4-game slate at 4K with Lou Will out, and what should be a pretty close game. Otherwise, like, there's Evan Turner at 4-3.
What's Wes Matthews' price?
He's 4-4, who had a pretty nice game today. Actually, a huge game today. I think it was you or CK who wrote him up in the article too.
I think CK. I don't write an article. I just cheap, but he did have 3 steals and 4 blocks. So like, that definitely helped boost him. But he's gonna get good usage with Dennis Smith Jr. and company out. On a slate where we're starved for good plays, I don't mind him for value. What's Iman Shumpert's price?
Shumpert is 3.9.
3.9. I mean, I don't really like playing Shumpert, but the minutes have been pretty legit now that he's healthy. I could see them using him more, for his defense out there against guys like Kawhi and Kyle Lowry and things like that. So maybe he can find his way into a handful of blocks and steals and hit a couple threes and, make value at the very worst at 3.9, like not the worst punt. And then last guy I'll ask, what's Terrence Ferguson's price?
I was actually just gonna bring him up too. He's 3.7, and what's been interesting with him, he actually closed 2 games ago, and he always came close to closing against the Knicks too today. But before that, against the Sixers and the Lakers, he closed the fourth quarter both games, and he's performing pretty well. Not a guy I like a lot because he's just that 3-and-D guy who, if he's hitting his threes, he might have value, and if he falls into some rebounds or assists, but he's not really an aggressive guy. But the 4-game slate, there's some people to pay up for here. Like on the slate, we got like Westbrook, Towns, who smashed last time in the same spot. Kawhi, who's 9-3 against the Kings. Like, if you really want to try to pay for a lot of those guys, you got to try to force some value in somewhere. And at 3.7, is it a guy I love, or I'm going to force into my lineups to try to jam those studs in? No, but I won't. I'm no problem giving him some exposure to get some of those studs in there tonight.
Yeah, especially if you're building multiples. Like, none of those guys we just talked about then here are very exciting, but so far we haven't had a ton of value outside of the 2 Clippers guards that we may need more if we're trying to fit in a couple more studs. So we'll see after we get through the next 3 positions if there's others, but those are the only guys worth mentioning on the FanDuel side as well. And at least on FanDuel,
there's always 2. I never play the damn guy, and I won't tomorrow. Never do, never will, because the same player with or without anyone in the lineup. But Danny Green last game, same price tag or so, right around there. He's 4-8 tomorrow against the Kings. He completely smashed last game, shooting 8 for 12 from 3. Like I said, I never play the guy because his floor is what we've seen him go for. Yeah, we've seen him go for like 8 DKP, like I think it was close to 30 minutes, and I only know because I played him that night in the revenge game against the Spurs. But we saw a feeling last game.
The amount of times he gets over, say, 20 is like less than 30%. So it's not even about like floor ceiling. It's just that like he very rarely gets has good games. So like even. So when you do catch him here and there, like you've lost so much on him already. Like he's just a guy.
Exactly that. You'll make more money fading him the whole season than you will playing him. And if you play him that one time, you better hope he bigs you the damn slate because otherwise you're still losing money if he does well that one night. But I can't really see much.
All right, so let's move over small forward. Yeah, no, I agree. So let's move over small forward, see if there's anything that we like over there.
Small forward, first play right away, stands out to me on DK at least, is AK Tobias Harris. With Gallo and Louisville, so much offensive usage opens up, and he completely dominated last game with, I think it was right around 60 DKP. I'm expecting right around the same again. He shot really well, but he's always been pretty efficient at shooting. He misses triple-double right by 1 assist and 1 rebound, so if he hits like a double-double bonus or anything like that, it's always nice too. He doesn't even fall into a lot of stocks, and his shot volume was insane last game with 20 field goal attempts, and I have no problem going right back to him tomorrow at an elevated price tag too. Where again, last game he only had a 22% usage, and he was just so efficient and got the minutes to be able to pay off his price tag and smash value there. So I like him a lot. Otherwise upwards. Paul George I mentioned a little bit earlier.
What's his price?
On DK is 9.7, which is pretty nice because just the 3-point bonus. But he's actually I think second in leading in the league in steals, which helps him on FanDuel a little bit. But on DK, like it's a 4-game slate, so I'm never gonna say I won't play him because I probably have a little bit of everyone. But what do you think his realistic ceiling is? Like, I can't imagine, especially in the matchup, getting more than like a 54, 55 point game max. And at 9.7, that's kind of almost like priced for like at his ceiling. Like if he's gonna have like a 45-point floor and a 55-point ceiling here, I'd much rather fade him and go down to guys like Oubre Jr., even TJ Warren, some of those lower guys there, and save my salary for the guys with the bigger ceilings there, right around the same price tag. Why Doncic a little cheaper? Go different positions, but 900 more up for Towns.
What's Kawhi's price tag?
Kawhi's 9.3 on DK.
So you'd rather have Kawhi than Paul George if you're going up there?
Yeah, I just think like Paul George always brings a nice floor, which in the matchup it's all right. He's 9.7, so if you're looking for a floor, go ahead. But I think Kawhi can go both ways. He can bring you a little bit of a lower floor, around the 40 mark, but he still has much higher of a ceiling than Paul George. So I'd rather go a little bit lower. You're just around the same floor and a lot more upside there than go to Paul George there.
Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, I kind of like Paul George over Russ in this game. I think Russ will have like double the ownership, and I love those kind of like power forward slashers against Portland. I do like Kawhi as well. They're 10-4 and 10-3 on FanDuel. Only 100 separates them. Kawhi getting paced up. Should have a handful of peripherals. Totally rested. Maybe I'm worried a little bit about the blowout. Sacramento on the road trip on a back-to-back. Portland, a very good defensive team. Sacramento can get a little sloppy. But I do like both of them at the top. And then really the only other guy I'm interested above 5K would be TJ Warren at 6'2". With those two bigs out, I just think he gets a decent usage boost and rebound percentage should go up. So I don't mind him. I would play him at 6'2" over Kelly Oubre at 6'1" on FanDuel. It's like crazy that they're only 100 apart. And I know Oubre's been outperforming him, but I'm just going to play Warren over Oubre every time if they're that close in price. Other than that, small slate, not a ton of options. What do you see down below 5K?
I mean, again, really not much, but when it's a 4-game slate, I'll take some shots on Josh Jackson, who played only 23 minutes last game.
He might have got ejected from that game, though. I'm almost positive he got ejected.
At least the set I'm looking on, he got fourth quarter minutes, but only 3 of them close to closing. So I don't.
Close to closing? Okay.
All right. Yeah, it was around like the 3-minute mark or so. He came out. Again, I would have figured he would have got more minutes last game with no Holmes and Ayton, because I would imagine they played more smaller lineups. But I guess it's kind of difficult against the Timberwolves again. And at 4K though, he's an option. Like he definitely has a nice ceiling too. For some reason, someone gets some foul trouble. Like you could tell. I don't love the guy, but he's a ceiling. Like I'll have some of him, but I'm not gonna try to push him on anyone else. Otherwise, going down low, Small forward, there's not a lot I like here. Mike Scott burned me last game because if you go back to the beginning of the season, I think it was like November 20th where we had Gallo out for the first game. Didn't have Motley called up at the time, so it was Mike Scott who really played the Motley role. But he had like 30 DKP in like around 31 minutes, and he was like the first guy off the bench. Like, was their scoring option off the bench with no Will and Gallo? So I played a lot of him last slate that they were on. Yeah, like DMP'd and burned me. I probably won't be going back to him tonight, but he's there.
Yeah, there's not much down here.
Yeah, there's not much. If I'm paying down, I'm going to other spots, and I'm not really diving deep into small forward here.
Yep, and I mean on DraftKings with multiple position eligibility, there's guys at shooting guard you can move over, stuff like that. FanDuel wise, like I don't mind Mo Harkless. He's been getting good minutes. I could see him getting additional guarding Paul George. This Jake Layman guy continues to get minutes. I don't love it unless somebody's out because you also got Evan Turner. But I think you can take a look at Mo Harkless. McCall.
DJ, like I said, there's not a lot here. Evan Turner's 4-3 still. Like I said, for shooting guard, he's gonna get his around 20 25 minutes or so. It all matters how efficient he is during those minutes. But if I'm going down, I'd rather go in other positions where I'm not gonna completely take my lineup to some of these guys dud.
Yep, I'm with you. So let's move it over to power forward. Let me know what you see over there.
Starting at the top, same thing going down. Paul George talked about Kawhi, Tobias Harris, and there's Montrez. The last game, same thing. He got. I need to looking at the wrong game flow here. Hold on.
Okay.
So he played 28 minutes.
Who are you talking about? Montrez?
Yeah.
Okay.
Efficient from the floor for shooting. Didn't see his normal rebound numbers. Didn't see his normal stock numbers. And kind of tanked a lot of people with only 24 DKP, but that's the risk you take with playing him always. I have no problem going right back to him if both Holmes and Ayton are out. Otherwise, like if Holmes is out, I'll go right to Holmes because they need a big body against DeAndre Jordan. And he always has a nice ceiling. Siakam too. The matchup's nice, and he only had 29 minutes last game. Still scored 32 DKP. I mean, you can even sort by game logs and look at minutes. If the game's gonna be close, if he gets to around 35 minutes, like he's gonna be efficient there. 6'3", I have no problem playing it as a floor player too, and he has a ceiling. Most games, he always gets minutes and produces well, but again, not a lot of love here. Siakam, Serge Ibaka, same case there. And Jeremy Grant too. He's 5'3". He's been paying off his price tag really well recently. He had like 6 games in a row now above 25 DKP. 4 of those 6 were 30 and above, 37 and 48 in there. But it's not really his shooting efficiency. It's more of his like stock and rebound upside. So I like him. Like you said, aggressive power forwards and wings against Portland's a real thing. And while he's not like the best shooter, or he's not always aggressive, like he's always a rim runner. He's aggressive on the offensive board, so I don't mind him there. It's gonna really be it from the top side. How about you?
I mean, obviously we got Tobias Montrez. I don't mind. I'm cool with Siakam at cheap prices. Love the matchup against Sacramento. And then Marvin Bagley at 5'6", I could take a shot at as well on FanDuel. I like bigs against Toronto. They've been getting crushed by bigs lately, and maybe there's potential blowout run from as well. But I don't see a ton I love either. It'd be Tobias or Marvin Bagley or Siakam. So take me down to Value Town. Let me know what you see there.
Value Town. You got Bagley right at 5K. Last game, he kind of did it again, and he still hasn't been seeing his normal minutes from before the injury. It's a little bit of a blowout, so he lost some minutes there too, even though he's off the bench. But the game stays close, and we hear anything about his minutes going up, like I have some interest in him. We saw a nice ceiling early in the season. The guy you gotta love too, of course, if he plays is Holmes. He's 4-1. We have Ayton pretty much ruled out already, being doubtful. They need the big body against Cat.
Mm-hmm.
He's a permanent player. He plays, I'm gonna love him there, 4-1, and he's like the value you're gonna need, like to take you off some of that shit value, like small forward and stuff like that. So I have a lot of him. Otherwise, too, Jogging Bender too. Last game, he logged just about 30 minutes, and he got an early foul trouble. I think it's around the 6:30 mark in the first quarter. Hit 2 early fouls, and that led to Quincy AC coming to the game right away for him. And AC only got 18 minutes, so if Bender got the start, even though he's been getting like DNP'd and not a lot of minutes for the whole season so far, I kind of think they want him to be that guy who's going to get the center minutes for him, and he matches up pretty well with Cat. Like, he's a mobile center. He's not a good defender, but at least he's pretty mobile.
Mm-hmm.
If you saw just about 30 minutes while getting pulled early last
What's
time
the
in foul
price?
trouble. DK is only 4K.
4K, yeah. I mean, 30
Yeah.
minutes, potentially more, did well. I'm fine with him.
Like, if he's going to get around 30 minutes to get a 4K and a site that seems pretty void of value right now, like, I'll definitely go to him. No problem with that. But that's, again, only if, like, Holmes is out and Ayton's definitely rolled out.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. If those guys, either one of them is in, then forget about Dragon Bender. But if they're both out, he's 3-8 on FanDuel. I'm totally fine with him as a punt.
If Holmes is in, I'm going to kind of figure Holmes plays the Bender role and gets that 30-minute mark, where Bender's playing that Quincy AC role, with AC only getting like his usual like 9 minutes or so.
Right.
And Bender might get that like 18 to 20 minutes off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's AC2 power forward on DK. He's 3-5. Like, I would have thought I liked him a little bit if he would have been ruled the starter in the first game.
Mm-hmm.
But when I saw him coming off the bench, even after getting some early first quarter minutes when Bender was in foul trouble, I can't really love him. The 4-game slate, so we're pretty void of value, like I said earlier. I'll take a shot at him at 3-5. Because God forbid he gets 20 minutes again and performs pretty well. We had 3 blocks last game, which kind of boosted his value there. It's some value where he helps pay for some studs, but other than that, I can't really imagine myself going to much more here. I'm not going to go back to Jonathan Motley. He got 18 minutes, and he was, like I said, he played that Mike Scott role off the bench in the second team.
Mm-hmm.
He shared a lot of minutes with Montrez, which they were really efficient with that. But, I mean, at 3-2, if he's going to see 18 minutes or so again, I might actually take a shot on him. Otherwise, that's all I'm really looking for. I'm not going to force myself onto some of this worst value down here.
Yep. Josh Jackson's power forward on FanDuel. He's 4-7. I don't mind that. I think he has, the chance to have a much better game than last time. If Rayshawn Holmes plays, I'm certainly playing him with Ayton out. And then, Dragon Bender, 3-8, I don't mind as a punt. I don't mind Harry Giles as a punt. I think that would be more of a blowout build kind of approach. But he's been getting around 20 minutes. He does have big upside if he gets minutes. And I do like Jonathan Motley. I was impressed with him. I could see him getting like a handful of more minutes if they were to get possibly blown out, although I doubt that. Like, I think he'd get a ton of blowout run and a ton of usage in that blowout run. But at 3-2 on a slate where like there's not a ton of value that we like, and we only have one more position, I do actually have interest in that. If both of those bigs, if Gallo and Lou Will are going to be out for,
it's funny too. Last slate the Suns were on.
Mm-hmm.
It was like as soon as I heard Gallo and Lou were out.
Mm-hmm.
I started looking at G League tapes for him. I was like, he kind of looks like the same exact player as Montrez.
Montrez, yeah, he is. He's like,
I couldn't imagine him playing shared minutes together, which they did get some shared minutes. And then I tweeted, I was like, please let me stop looking at Jonathan Motley G League tapes, because then I wanted to play him. Like, he looked good in them. He looks pretty efficient. Like, it's G League. Anyone's going to dominate.
I think he was on like Milwaukee for a minute, and like anytime he got time in like the preseason or in the G League, like he's performed well. He's had like 1 or 2 decent games in the NBA, like the last game of the season or something. Like he's another one of those kind of bigs, just like you said, like Montrezl Harrell at 3-2. It's like, if you need a value punt down there, go for it. I like his game. Anyway, again, not too much. It's gonna be interesting when we have to do top threes and actually say who you like, because not many guys I think that it sounds like you like outside of maybe Russ. So we'll see when we get there. But hopefully there's some things at center all the way through. Don't stop at 5. Just go through the whole position. Let me know what you like.
So top to bottom, a lot of these centers too. It's going to be interesting on DK because sometimes their ownership is a little more spiked because they're multi-position eligibility. But a lot of these guys, like the higher price guys and people with upside, like Towns, Nurkic, Jordan, like Coy Stein, they're all just center eligible. They don't have like that power forward eligibility.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be interesting to see how the ownership weighs out in them. But I mean, you have Towns at 10-6 in the same matchup he dominated in, got close to 40 minutes last game. Smashed them at 61 DKP. It's just on paper too. They have absolutely no one who can guard him. They can't throw Quincy AC. They can't throw Jogging Bender on him. Dominated last game. You got to expect the same here. I mean, the interesting thing too was while he was still, I think, like 50 to 60% owned, people were kind of off him a little bit because they were scared of the blowout.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of shows why I can't really try to predict blowouts too much. But if you want to try to leverage yourself and think like maybe this game this time for some reason does blow out,
Mm-hmm.
you can go a little under the field and try to hope it blows out. He doesn't get 40 minutes and smash.
Yep.
And you can pay down at center for like Cauley Stein at 6K or like Nurkic at 7.5. Yeah, Nurkic too at 7.5 I like a lot.
What's Steve Adams' price? I'm just curious.
DK 6'2".
Guess what he is on FanDuel?
7'8".
8-2.
Oh man. There's no fucking way you could pay the guy at that price. There's no way.
It's just crazy.
You don't have any interest in him, do you?
No, not at all. I was just blown away by that price.
That's insane.
Keep going through that. Anyone else that you like, or is that it? Just basically
Nurkic, because the ceiling always. He had a relatively good game against them last time.
Mm-hmm.
I think he had like a 40-point game or so around them. Yeah, Cauley Stein at 6K because he always has a relatively nice ceiling too. While he hasn't been performing well recently, just his shot attempts are down, and he's been seeing no stocks at all. So the 4-game slate, I mean, you could say it a million times. Like you really have to. There's not going to be a ton of guys you love, but you gotta look for raw upside, and like really Cauley Stein at 6K has that. Nurkic at 7.5 has that.
Mm-hmm.
Siakam center eligible in DK. Like I said, like even just look at his game logs, sort by minutes, and any game where he's getting above like 35 minutes or so, like he always performs really well. So at 6'3", like he's a great floor play, and he has upside even if Kawhi and Lowry both play. Going down, you got Bender and Holmes, like I mentioned earlier. There's not a ton I can even throw darts at on the bottom end there. Motley's 3-2 we mentioned, who I like a lot. If you really want to go large field, like the Donkey and stuff like that, Nerlens Noel, because if he does get like a 15 to 20 minute game and he can see some insane block and steal upside, but I can't imagine myself on that tomorrow when I got like Quincy AC right above that and Motley around the same price tag too.
Yes, I mean center's so ugly. I can't imagine Cat not being like 75% owned on both these sites tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
There's definitely merit to fading anyone that's going to be that highly owned, and just how ugly this position is on FanDuel. It's like it's him or punt. I mean, you got Nurkic at 9-2 against Steven Adams. Steven Adams at 8-2. You got DeAndre Jordan at 7K against his former team. Maybe that gathers some ownership. He was a little nicked up, but he played well today. I could see some guys going there just because there's literally no other options. Willie Cauley Stein at 7-9. He's been losing minutes with Giles and Bagley healthy. He can't seem to stay out of foul trouble lately. I don't see anyone else that's even like worth mentioning. So, on DraftKings where you have more options, you can move some of those guys from forward that are center eligible. But FanDuel, I just think Karl Anthony Towns is going to be crazy high owned, and I probably
Both sides, yeah.
I probably see myself punting center on FanDuel just to be different, but if that
Is there
game
anyone on that bottom tier, like at all, like 4K and lower, like who can do
so
anything, or it's a raw point, like we're expecting a 0 on FanDuel?
it's I mean, I never just punt the guy that I think will get like 0 minutes. Like I always at least like this position specifically, there's two guys I would punt with. It's either Boban at 3.5. You never know, like Gortat gets hurt the first play, and then he comes in. He can go for 35 in 20 minutes. Or Nerlens Noel that you mentioned, like another guy that maybe Adams sprains his ankle and he comes in and, like those are the kinds of guys that I like to punt on FanDuel that have an upside if they were to get minutes for some reason or in blowout run. But other than that, there's just no one else. It's just a really weak slate. So it's, obviously Towns is going to be one of the top plays on the slate, just position scarcity wise. And that's going to do it for the position by position breakdown. At this time, I'll remind you, come check out The Nation. It has been a lot of fun in 2019 so far. Golf, the show, the live stream is tomorrow. The articles will be out. It's coming out sometime through Wednesday, but Cash and company have started out really hot in golf. Cash took down a couple GPPs, won himself like 2,500, I think, on like $30 in investment or $80 in investment. Really nice ROI there, and the subscribers have had a couple comma wins out there. So check out golf tomorrow and Wednesday, and you want to jump on the NBA, $2.50 gets you a day pass, gets you day preview into all the content except for the Slack chat, and that's the expert poll, GPP, cash game articles. I put out a cheat sheet on 5-game slates or larger. Sometimes I'll do them for the small ones. I'll probably do one tomorrow. CK does a core article. We have the model out now that's been actually really, really accurate. I need to start using it a little bit more. And, the overall community is just awesome. So if you haven't yet, you're watching this podcast, $2.50. If you're playing DFS with any kind of real money, it's just worth the investment. You'll become a better player by joining the community. And if you like what you see after the day pass, you jump up to a monthly or larger subscription and you get into that Slack chat, which is just 24/7 DFS talk and life talk as well, like in the late hours. It's a good time, good place, good company, good product. Check us out. All right, Stevie, we're going to have to make some serious decisions here. It's top 3 time.
Oh, God.
You're going to have the easier one because you got multiple position eligibility. I have to actually choose 3 people per position on FanDuel. So what do you like
with that?
Give me your top 3.
All right, top 3, I'm obviously going Russ there. De'Aaron Fox a lot at 7.3. Then Lillard at 8K, like I said, nice floor ceiling too. So I'll take them 3.
All right, I'm going with Dame Lillard as my favorite, Pat Bev, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shooting guard.
I'm also Pat Bev, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, then Devin Booker too.
Yep, I will take Devin Booker. I'll take Buddy Hield, and I will go with gets ugly. I'll go Bogdan Bogdanovic. Small forward.
Kelly Oubre Jr. is going to be my number 1 there. I like him a lot. Tobias Harris and then Paul George.
Oubre, Harris, and Paul George. I'll go with Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and TJ Warren. Who do you got at power forward?
Power forward, I got Kawhi, Montrez, even though he died the last game, I'll go right back to him tonight. Then Siakam.
Yeah, I definitely like Siakam, Tobias Harris, and if Rayshawn Holmes plays, for sure him. If not, then Dragon Bender. Center.
Gotta love Cat is number 1, Nurkic, and then Willie Cauley-Stein is my number 3.
Yep, I mean, Cat's obviously the best play over here. Then I'll say DeAndre Jordan and Yusuf Nurkic. And that is going to do it for the top 3s. If you guys are listening on iTunes, Podbean, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, any other platforms that we may be on that I forgot, YouTube, the big one, Please click that thumbs up button, like, support, share. All those things help the nation continue doing this podcast, and we really greatly appreciate it. Other than that, Stevie, anything you want to say in closing?
I mean, just for like any small slate, like while you're 1v1s, like take the higher floors versus and higher ceilings versus guys that can really kill your lineups a lot. Roster construction is going to be big with Cat being the chalk center and a lot of value being at the guard positions.
For sure.
Other than that, like, take stands and follow your belief, and it's really it for a four-game slate.
Yep. And, whenever we do these podcasts, a lot of things change by the time we wake up tomorrow. Guys be ruled in, ruled out, and the slate kind of takes on a different form. So catch us tomorrow. Live stream will be
I'm
at
almost
5
hoping we
p.m.
get some news like that tomorrow now. It's the only slate I'll ever say that too.
I'm sure there will be, So catch us tomorrow, 5 o'clock wide stream. Content will be out between 4 and lock. And that is all. For Stevie, for myself, for the nation, as CK always says, good luck. Peace.
Yeah.
Really
Close to 2 now.
I mean,